Jacob Fatu snaps on Roman. Roman crashes through table. Tongan Death Grip chaos. Bloodline explodes on Raw. Jacob Fatu takes over. Roman gets destroyed. Raw ends in carnage. Make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on for all the latest updates. Roman Reigns gets dragged right back into chaos as Jacob Fatu unleashes absolute destruction with a brutal Tongan Death Grip that leaves the entire arena stunned. What started as another tense confrontation quickly spiraled into complete madness, and by the end of the night, Roman Reigns found himself crashing through a table in one of the wildest Raw moments we've seen in a long time. Before we get into everything that happened, let me ask you something simple. Did you honestly expect Jacob Fatu to go this far already? Or did you think WWE would save this moment for later? Because this didn't feel like a warning anymore. This felt personal. Ever since Roman Reigns returned and tried to remind everybody exactly who runs the business, things have felt different around WWE. The atmosphere changed immediately. The tension inside the Bloodline story became thicker than ever, and every single appearance from Jacob Fatu started carrying dangerous energy behind it. Fans could already feel something exploding beneath the surface, but nobody really knew when it would happen. Then Raw arrived, and suddenly everything snapped into place. Roman walked into the arena carrying himself the same way he always does, calm, confident, untouchable. The crowd reaction was huge, as expected, but underneath all the noise, there was this strange feeling that something wasn't right. Have you ever watched a wrestling segment and instantly felt like it was about to turn chaotic? That was this moment. Roman wasn't just dealing with disrespect anymore. He was dealing with somebody who genuinely looked fearless standing across from him. Jacob Fatu didn't hesitate, didn't back down, and didn't show even a second of uncertainty. That's what made the entire thing feel dangerous. Commentary kept trying to explain the growing cracks inside the Bloodline situation, but honestly, the visuals said more than words ever.
Jacob stood there staring at Roman like he had waited years for this exact opportunity. The intensity in his face looked unreal. And here's a quick question for the comments. Who has the more intimidating stare right now? Roman Reigns or Jacob Fatu? Because that face-off alone looked like a pay-per-view main event. The segment kept escalating slowly, and that almost made it worse. Nobody rushed into anything. Every movement felt calculated. Roman tried to speak with authority, like he always does, reminding everyone why he became the tribal chief in the first place. But Jacob wasn't buying into any of it. There was no fear in his body language, no hesitation, no respect, and the crowd absolutely loved it. You could hear people losing their minds because they knew they were watching a huge turning point happen live. WWE has teased tension before, but this felt completely different. This felt like somebody was truly trying to rip the throne away from Roman Reigns piece by piece. The moment things finally exploded came out of nowhere. One second, the two men were locked in a verbal confrontation, and the next second, Jacob Fatu exploded forward with terrifying aggression. Roman barely had time to react before fists started flying, and security completely lost control of the situation. The crowd noise instantly doubled. Fans jumped out of their seats because the intensity looked insane. Jacob wasn't attacking Roman like a normal rival. He looked like a man possessed. That's honestly the only way to describe it. Every strike felt violent. Every movement felt explosive. And Roman suddenly looked vulnerable in a way we rarely ever see. That alone made the segment unforgettable. Think about it for a second. When was the last time Roman truly looked overwhelmed physically on Raw? It almost never happens.
But Jacob brought a completely different type of energy. Officials tried stepping in, but nothing worked. Bodies were flying everywhere, while the arena atmosphere turned completely unhinged. Roman fought back hard. Of course he did, because that's what Roman does. He's built his legacy on surviving wars. But Jacob kept coming forward, like he couldn't feel pain. Every time Roman landed something, Jacob answered with even more aggression. The pacing of the segment became pure chaos, and fans inside the building could barely believe what they were watching. Then came the moment everybody is talking about. Jacob Fatu grabbed Roman Reigns and locked in the terrifying Tongan Death Grip. The visual alone looked insane. Roman immediately started struggling while the crowd completely erupted.
Commentary screamed about the danger of the hold while Jacob looked absolutely merciless applying pressure. The camera angles made it even crazier because Roman genuinely looked trapped. Quick question for you guys. Do you think the Tongan Death Grip is already becoming one of the coolest finishing style moves in WWE right now? Because visually, it looks brutal every single time. Roman tried fighting free, but Jacob wasn't letting go. The intensity in that moment felt massive because nobody expected Roman Reigns to be dominated like this on live television. The entire arena atmosphere changed instantly. Fans weren't just reacting anymore, they were shocked. WWE has spent years protecting Roman's aura, so watching Jacob completely overpower him felt surreal. You could even see people in the crowd holding their heads in disbelief while others screamed louder than ever. That's when things somehow got even worse for Roman.
Jacob dragged him toward the table set up near ringside, and suddenly everybody knew exactly what was coming next. There's always that split second before a huge table spot where the crowd collectively realizes disaster is about to happen. This was one of those moments. Roman tried throwing elbows and fighting out desperately, but Jacob kept the death grip locked in while driving forward with terrifying force. The crowd volume reached another level entirely. Then, boom, Jacob Fatu smashed Roman Reigns straight through the table in an absolutely devastating crash that shook the entire arena. Wood exploded everywhere while commentary completely lost it on the microphones. The visual looked unbelievable. Roman crashed hard through the table while Jacob stood over the destruction looking like an unstoppable monster. That image alone instantly became one of the defining visuals of the night. Be honest in the comments. Did that table spot surprise you, or did you see it coming the second Jacob grabbed him? Because even if you expected it, the impact still looked insane. Medical officials rushed toward Roman while the crowd stayed unbelievably loud. Some fans were chanting for Jacob while others just looked stunned at what they had witnessed. WWE clearly wanted this moment to feel massive, and honestly, they succeeded completely. Jacob Fatu didn't just attack Roman Reigns, he humiliated him. He destroyed him physically and symbolically at the same time. That's what made the segment hit differently. This wasn't just another bloodline tease anymore, this was a direct statement. Jacob basically announced that Roman's control isn't guaranteed anymore. The aftermath made the whole thing feel even more important. Jacob stood tall while Roman struggled through the wreckage, and the crowd reaction stayed huge the entire time. Commentary started questioning whether Roman's position inside the bloodline is finally slipping away for good. And honestly, it's hard not to wonder the same thing now. Roman built his empire through fear, loyalty, and dominance, but Jacob looks like somebody completely immune to all of it.
WWE clearly understands how much potential this rivalry has, because the segment was produced like a major turning point, not just another weekly show fight. Even online, fans instantly exploded with reactions. Social media started flooding with clips, screenshots, and debates over whether Jacob Fatu just had his true breakout moment. And honestly, it's hard to argue against that. This felt like the exact type of performance that changes a wrestler's entire trajectory overnight. Jacob already had momentum before this, but after putting Roman Reigns through a table using the Tongan Death Grip, he suddenly feels like a genuine top-level threat. That's a completely different conversation now. One thing WWE absolutely nailed here was presentation. Jacob didn't feel like just another challenger. He felt dangerous. There's a huge difference. A lot of wrestlers can attack Roman. Very few can make Roman look genuinely vulnerable.